Strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. Yeah, you probably were wondering what the hell was going on with the intro this morning. If you listened to the whole thing, of course. Yeah. I just got involved with the music. And you know, the music does sound better with you. So, yeah, I took a little bit longer with the music this morning. Anyways, that's not important. Today is Friday, October the 20th of 2023, day 293rd of the year, and only 72 days left to go. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in, I want to say Los Angeles, California, but in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Oh, radio and sarcasm all mixed together in one nice little package. That's what we are. So let's talk about it. Do you look more towards Whip 'em Out Wednesday or Freeform Friday? Because it feels like Friday we catch up on all the shit we didn't talk about throughout the week. Yeah, you know. That's what we do around here. So let's take a look and a gander at some of the things that are going on. If you're not familiar with what we do around here, don't worry. I become unfamiliar with it almost every day as well. We are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety. And some people sit around and bitch about that we don't talk about safety the whole time. And that's okay. Because you need topical conversations to talk about in regards of what is going on inside of the world. Because if you start with the safety stuff before you get into the topical stuff, there's the cringe moment. Yeah, the cringe moment.
Duh.
So with that being said, here's what we want to do. We'll talk about safety. We'll talk about the news. We'll bring in some professional broadcasters for them to broadcast away until their heart's desire of what the hell's going on. The other side of the equation goes something like this. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so by going to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com, and that will get you moving and grooving. The call-in radio aspect of everything that we do, it's kind of a simple process because once you get there, you can do a video chat. You can do an audio chat. Or, it's pretty simple. The last but not least. The fave of faves, the texting. Yeah, you can text across the multiverse. And some people go, well, why can't I do that on the social media platforms? Well, you can. I'm just terrible at checking them in real time. The other one, well, it kind of gives me all kinds of weird alerts on my screen, and I kind of don't have the choice to ignore it. I mean, I guess I do have the choice to ignore it. I just don't. It's so painful to me to see the notification. You know how that weird notification thing happens on your phone from time to time when somebody's trying to contact you, and you just know you have to look at it? It kind of feels like one of those moments. So that's what it boils down to. So outside of that, that's kind of really sums up what the show is about. And then we get moving and grooving towards everything else about what the hell's going on. So don't worry about that. Professional broadcasters are always ready to broadcast. As this morning, I have Mark Mayfield waiting around going, can you just shut the F up and let me talk my heart away to my heart's desire. So with that being said, why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending? That way we can get moving.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so when I look at the trends of the ends, it goes something like this. A former attorney for FTX testifies about Sam Bankman-Fried covering his tracks and mortgage rates hit families harder than ever. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Josie Smollett has entered a treatment program, and Gwyneth Paltrow is ready to leave the spotlight behind. GMA's big move, and Leonardo DiCaprio films ranked. More, we'll talk about that here in a moment. Do we want to talk about these Jenners? Okay, Kris Jenner is ruthless businesswoman, and Caitlyn Jenner is gearing up to reveal all the dirty details of the Kardashians. Find out more in Kardash. Whatever the hell that means. So we'll get into everything in just a moment after we have Mark Mayfield tell us about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. The number of Americans killed in the conflict between Israel and Hamas is rising. State Department spokesman Matt Miller said 32 Americans have been confirmed dead and another 11 are unaccounted for. He said U.S. officials are working to try and secure the release of hostages held by Hamas. Thousands of Israelis and Palestinians have died and thousands more have been injured as the war escalates. President Biden says there is no higher priority than getting the hostages held by Hamas back home.
As I told the families of Americans being held captive by Hamas, we're pursuing every avenue to bring their loved ones home.
Addressing the nation from the Oval Office last night, Biden said we mourn the loss of every life in the Israel-Hamas war. Biden also said we're facing an inflection point in history as the Ukraine-Russia war rages on. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan set to hold a press conference this morning at the U.S. Capitol. Republicans have been meeting behind closed doors trying to find a path forward to elect a new leader, but so far have come up short. Jordan has vowed to stay in the race despite failing twice earlier this week to secure the speakership. The chamber is unable to move any legislation until a speaker is elected. Jordan told reporters Thursday that Republican members decided against voting on a resolution to empower interim Speaker Patrick McHenry to take on the speaker's role until January. Pfizer is upping the cost of its COVID-19 medication Paxlovid by more than double what it was. Lisa Taylor explains.
As the U.S. transitions out of the pandemic's emergency phase, the drug maker is changing the list price of the drug before insurance to nearly $1,400 for a 5-day course, according to the Wall Street Journal. That's up from $530 per course, which was paid by the U.S. government to provide Paxlovid free to patients. Pfizer said it would offer assistance for co-pays for those who qualify. I'm Lisa Taylor.
And the Arizona Diamondbacks are on the board in the National League Championship Series. The team won Game 3 over the Phillies in the best-of-7 series 2-1 at Chase Field. The Phils hope to gain command of the series again tonight in Phoenix. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
The FBI continues to monitor threats in the U.S. and overseas as the Israel-Hamas conflict rages on. Trey Thomas reports.
The FBI has seen an increase in threats against Jewish, Muslim, and Arab communities and institutions. They're looking into the credibility of any and all threats and working closely with state and local law enforcement. They're also working with leaders of all faiths, including Jewish and Muslim leaders. The public should report any threats or other suspicious activity to law enforcement. I'm Trey Thomas.
A U.S. soldier who crossed into North Korea is now charged with several crimes, including desertion, assault, and soliciting child pornography. Private Second Class Travis King was kicked out of North Korea in September, 2 months after he ran across the heavily militarized border with South Korea, where he had been stationed. He had been scheduled for a return to the U.S. to face discipline after spending almost 50 days in a South Korean jail when he made his way into the reclusive neighboring nation. King is currently in custody at Fort Bliss, Texas. Some of Hollywood's A-listers are offering big bucks to help end the SAG-AFTRA actors strike. Brian Shook reports.
Stars like George Clooney, Ben Affleck, and Scarlett Johansson are proposing to give $150 million to remove the cap of SAG-AFTRA dues to help fund areas of the union that need help. The changes would mean that the highest earners would contribute significantly more in membership fees. Deadline reports the actors met with union members. Clooney tells Deadline that a lot of the top earners want to be a part of the solution. I'm Brian Shook.
And Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon is expected to start fast at the box office. The film, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, is projected to make between $20 and $30 million in its first weekend. It's adapted from the David Grann novel of the same name and follows the mysterious murders that happened after oil deposits were found on the Osage Nation's land in Oklahoma in the early 1920s. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks, though. With the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef prepared, dietitian approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, you know it. You are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show here on Safety FM and Radio Big, as we get to hang out and I guess be the shock safety people. Stupidity. Anyway, so let's continue. 15 minutes past the top of the hour because it is Freeform Friday. So let's continue talking about all kinds of fun stuff. FTX former general counsel, a man named Khan's son, testified in court on Thursday that he was the first to learn about more than $7 billion missing from the customer's fund. Sam Bankman-Fried ordered the son to find a legal justification for the missing money. SBF himself provided no justification, and by the looks of it, he was trying to cover his tracks and buy himself some time. Worth remembering, in the days before the fraud first came to light, SBF was working around the clock to get new investments infusion to refuel customers' money. A deal in the late stages with the Chinese crypto zillionaire fell through in the 11th hour as the news of the missing funds started to spread. Next, the court is taking a week off while the judge attends some other obligations, resuming next Thursday. Let's make sure that we talk about what it is. It's a conference. He's going to a conference. The judge is going to a conference. So that's why everything's being put on holdy-oldy. Just so you know. Also, let's talk about some other stuff because, hey, why not talk about it? Because it's one of those things that has the impact on people's life. With interest rates having slowly crept up, online house listings marketplace Redfin estimates that home buyers now must earn $115,000 a year to afford a typical American home. That's $40,000 over the national average and a 15% increase over last year. In comparison, in August of 2020, even amid while the hot COVID market, a household income of about $75,000 would put the average family in a typical house, according to Redfin. So what do you think here? I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you. It's kind of one of those interesting spots in life in regard to what you want to do with home purchasing. So let's say, for instance, you live in an apartment. You have to look at it and go, is the cost of the apartment worth the trade-off of trying to buy a house? Yeah, it's a difficult one, especially depending on the financial situation. And believe me, I am no CPA, so I am not one to give you any kind of financial advice. I can only tell you the dumb stuff that I've done to get to where I'm at today. So there you go. Take that with a grain of salt as much as you can.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, it's definitely not a grain of sugar. Anyways, a rediscovered coin from England's Iron Age sheds a new light on the ancient rulers lost to history. A hobbyist with the metal detectors found that a new artifact in the southern England, and the coin bears the name of a ruler called Insurnertos. Yes, Insurnertos, who hasn't shown up before in the country's well-documented history. The coin dates to somewhere between 50 and 30 BC, and it ended up selling for 20,000 British pounds at auction. This is according to the Daily Mail. So there you go. Some information to think about. What do you think? Are you intrigued by the coin? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Anyways, more than 5 active duty American soldiers are obese, double the number of just 10 years ago. And it gets worse. More than 2/3 of active service members are considered at least overweight. The data comes as the military struggles to recruit new members and reach their quotas. This is via roll call. So what do you think here? It's an interesting one, to say the least. So listen, I'm gonna repeat this one that I talked about yesterday because I thought it was such an interesting thing. Believe me, this is not a best of show because this would be the worst of because I never have a best of show. But Guinness World Record has named the South Carolina chili called Pepper X the world hottest pepper. The greenish yellow pepper was created by Ed Curry, founder of the Pucker Butt Pepper Company. It was first unveiled on the web series Hot Ones, in which celebrities are challenged to eat 10 hot wings with progressive hotter sauces. The pepper packs a punch of 2,693 Scoville heat units, beating the Carolina Reaper, which clocks in at 1.64 million on the Scoville scale. For perspective, jalapenos register just about 3,000 to 8,000 SHUs. So there you go. Hey, I was asked by special request to say that one. I always thought the rewind button worked the best, but that's just my thought.
Duh.
So there you go. Some stuff to think about always as we are talking, hanging out, and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. Because if we weren't doing the fun stuff, I don't know exactly what we would be doing. I guess we would just be doing the stuff. So with that being said, why don't we bring in some Erin Royale and let her tell you a little bit about what the hell's going on with some Money Matters.
First-time jobless claims are down. The Department of Labor says it received 198,000 initial unemployment insurance requests for the week ending October 14th. That's down from the previous week's 209,000 and below estimates of 210,000. It's also the first time since January that jobless claims in the U.S. have dropped below 200,000. The drop in claims is an indicator that the U.S. labor market remains tight. Netflix is raising prices for some of its streaming plans as it blew past forecasts for new subscribers in its latest quarter. Bertha Combs reports.
Netflix adding nearly 9 million new customers worldwide, the company crediting the gains to its crackdown on password sharing. Netflix is raising the price of its premium ad-free plan by $3 to $22.99 a month, and the one-stream basic plan by $2 a month.
Congress is looking for ways to stop the next COVID before it starts. Texas A&M's Dr. Gerald Parker said in a hearing this week that there needs to be a better set of standards for labs that handle dangerous stuff.
Congress should authorize and fund an independent biosafety and biosecurity oversight authority, analogous to the FAA's oversight over air transportation. It is imperative that this oversight authority be nimble and able to keep up with the rapidly evolving life science advances, consolidate the current patchwork of fragmented guidances.
The problem, he admits, is that it will be tough to hold foreign labs to the same standards. Republicans used the hearing to push the lab leak theory, suggesting that COVID escaped from the Wuhan Institute. There continues to be disagreement among scientists if that's true. Tesla saw a drop in third quarter earnings that fell below Wall Street expectations. The electric car maker reported earnings of $2.3 billion, down 37% from a year earlier. It's the smallest profit the company has seen in 2 years. Tesla, in part, blames shutdowns on several production lines for upgrades. Consumer and business news, Erin Royale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Erin, for the information on what exactly is going on inside of the world-o, because, hey, it's always important to have the sequence of events of what the hell's going on. No doubt about that. So let's talk a little bit about what I found on my side. The Dow was down 250 points to close at 33,414 on Thursday. The S&P lost about 36 points to close at 4,278. And the NASDAQ slid about 128 points to close at 13,186. West Texas, we'll get even talk. West Texas Intermediate closed at $90 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $92 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.56, and Bitcoin ticked up to about 1.4% on Thursday, trading just over 28,725. There was, 3,490 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Thursday, and about 75 such cancellation. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $91 million jackpot, or a $39.7 million cash payout. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $70 million jackpot, or a $31.7 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have some opportunity to do so. No doubt about that. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Some information for you, some information for me, and some things to definitely think about as we are moving and grooving and everything else. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world, because why would we not do that? Anyways, 2 Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies are hospitalized after they were hit by a car in West Hollywood. Sheriff Robert Luna says the deputies risked their life.
These suspects obviously were trying to get away. They were dangerous. Deputies tried to intercede, and they got injured while trying to do that to protect our community.
One of the deputies is in critical but stable condition. The other has minor injuries. The deputies were hit by a fleeing burglary suspect after a pursuit on Thursday afternoon. A driver hit the deputies with a vehicle after making a U-turn. The suspect got away and still is on the loose. So just so you have some information there. Take a listen to this. All lanes on I-25 near Pueblo have reopened following the deadly train derailment. Governor Polis visited the site of the derailment on Wednesday, saying that he's working on getting more state federal funding to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again.
We feel that there are hundreds of millions of dollars that will likely come to Colorado over the next decade under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, specifically for rail, as long as we align our priorities correctly and do everything we can to pull down that money.
The Colorado Department of Transportation announced the reopening of the northbound lanes in the interstate yesterday afternoon. The highway is expected to close again in a few weeks when the railroad bridge over the interstate is replaced, and investigators are still looking into Sunday's derailment, which reportedly caused by broken rail. A California truck driver lost his life after a semi was trapped in the wreckage, and the first responders were unable to reach in time. The train derailment investigator Gary Wolf broken rails are common cause of derailment after the National Transportation Safety Board stated that was the case over I-25 preliminary findings this week.
The rails are made of high-quality steel, but occasionally there can be an imperfection in the rail.
So there you go. A lot of information right there as we are talking. No doubt about that. Anyways, President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are offering the condolences for the family of the 6-year-old Muslim boy who was stabbed to death inside of his Plainsfield Township home this past week. The president spoke about the attack during his primetime address last night.
Just last week, my mother was brutally stabbed. A little boy here in the United States, a little boy who just turned 6 years old was murdered in their home outside of Chicago. His name was Wadiha.
So in the post on X, the president said that the father and uncle of Wadiha al-Fororum, the conversation was held over the phone after Biden's from the Oval Office. Joseph Shuba is charged with attacking Wadiha and his mother with a knife because he was upset over the Israel-Hamas war that is currently going on. So there you go, some information for you as we are talking. State and city leaders are mourning the death of Baltimore firefighter and praying for praying for 4 who were injured on Thursday afternoon after the fire destroyed the homes of row of homes in Linden Heights. Mayor Brandon Scott says that Baltimore lost heroes during the entire city shares the pain and the grief of the families.
Baltimore's focus should be on supporting these families, supporting this department, and supporting really the city, as we have to wrap our arms around them as they are dealing with tragic loss.
City Council President Nick Mosby has firefighters and superheroes. And superheroes are superheroes. When this tragedy hit, we are reminded immensely of the risks that they have every day to keep our community safe. Maryland U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen says that he is heartbroken by the news and thought of the falling firefighters. City State Attorney Evan Bates says that it's not only the reminder of the immense sacrifices that men and women of the fire department make while on duty, but also the sacrifices that they're involved in. City Council President Nick Mosby says that firefighters are superheroes and we don't expect to lose them.
It's a really sad night for all of us. It's a hard night, but it's even harder night for that firefighter's family. Looking in their eyes is unbelievable.
So what do you think here? What do you think about this? Do you see them as superheroes, or do people not see them like that at all? That's always the thing that I always kind of wonder about. Take a listen to this one. The 3 19-year-old men who are accused of killing a 20-year-old Alexa Bartel in April by throwing a rock through her windshield will go to trial. Ryan Barkley, an attorney based in Denver, says the journey of justice is just beginning.
The stakes, in that they are charged as adults, the stakes are possibly life in prison.
Suspect Nicholas, well, we're not going to say the names. The suspects appeared in court on Wednesday for a preliminary hearing where the investigator said cell phone data places the suspects at the scene at Bartell. A judge ruled that there is enough probable cause for the three to go to trial. Each suspect faces several charges, including first-degree murder, and the defense has requested that each suspect be tried separately. They were all 18 at the time of Bartell's death. Denver-based criminal attorney Ryan Barkley says the defense attorneys are likely to play up the fact that the three men are young in an effort to limit their sentences. So take a listen.
Young people do stupid things. We see a lot of planning and we see a lot of premeditation. We see a lot of very callous behavior. That may erase that mitigating factor of the age.
So there you go, some stuff going on right there as we are talking, no doubt about that. So there you go. Always some interesting things as we take a look-see around of what is going on for sure. What else do we have? Let's see. A lot of stuff right here. Indicted New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez is getting a reality check from the Garden State voters in a new poll. Take a listen to this.
The latest Fairleigh Dickinson University poll of New Jersey residents shows 70% of voters in the state think Menendez should resign given his ongoing federal bribery case. It's not partisan. 80% of Republicans, 71% of Democrats, and 67% of independents say they want Menendez gone. Poll director Professor Sam Casino says Menendez's issues make less partisan voters more likely to vote Republican. Only 16% of voters say they want Menendez to finish out his term. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New Jersey.
So what do you think there? Does that make sense to you? Or do you look at it and go, doesn't make any sense at all? I don't know. Anyways, this is the Jay Allen not really the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. This is the Rated R Safety Show. It's 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so maybe we should do that thing that we do right around now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. In an Oval Office address, US President Joe Biden has said Russia's president and Hamas both want to annihilate democracies. President Biden used the speech to urge Americans to get behind the idea of sending billions of dollars to support Israel and Ukraine. He's expected to ask Congress on Friday to pass $100 billion in funding. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
This was a sales pitch to the American people, a 15-minute speech in which President Biden threaded together the threats that are facing democracy, namely Hamas's threats to Israel, Moscow's threats to Kiev. Those two conflicts going on very far from America's borders. He started early on in the speech in saying that it was happening far from the US, that Americans may even be asking, why does it matter to me? He said that both Hamas and President Vladimir Putin had the same goal in mind, the complete annihilation of a neighbouring democracy. But of course, Congress remains in stasis. There is no Speaker of the House of Representatives, which means that even if the President is asking, Congress cannot pass any applications that he's asking for.
Israel is evacuating residents from the city of Kiryat Shmona near the border with Lebanon. In the south, Israeli forces have been told to expect to soon see Gaza from inside ahead of an expected ground offensive. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is continuing his diplomatic tour of the Middle East with a visit to Egypt on Friday, focusing on humanitarian concerns. Beijing and Moscow are ready to coordinate with each other over the conflict in Israel and Gaza, according to Russian and Chinese state media. Beijing's special envoy for the Middle East met Russia's deputy foreign minister in Qatar for talks on the situation. Andrew Wood reports from Hong Kong.
Chinese state media reported that after Beijing's Middle East envoy, Jai Jun, met the Russian diplomat Mikhail Bogdanov, he said that China and Russia shared the same position on the issue of Palestine. Both countries say that the solution to conflict in the Middle East is to create an independent Palestinian state. Just before Russia invaded Ukraine last year, President Xi Jinping and President Vladimir Putin said their country's friendship was without limits. They met again this week, and Mr. Putin said that opposition to China and Russia's deepening relationship just strengthened it. The conflict in Israel is an opportunity for them to weaken America's influence on geopolitics, but so far this week, President Joe Biden's upstaged them by visiting Israel. Andrew Wood, Hong Kong.
The UK's governing Conservative Party has lost 2 Westminster seats to Labour in by-election results that are a huge blow to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. The Labour Party overturned large majorities in Tamworth and Mid-Bedfordshire. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. We heard yesterday one version of what might happen in Gaza, the concept of a UN trusteeship overseeing the governance of the territory instead of Hamas. But now another idea has been put forward after Israeli government leaders said a ground assault on Gaza could begin at any time. So why has it taken nearly 2 weeks for the much-anticipated ground offensive to begin? And what is its aim in Gaza beyond neutralizing Hamas as a political and military force? In Tel Aviv, we hear again today from reporter Noga Tarnopolsky.
The Israeli leaders who were caught by surprise by this really cataclysmic terror attack, they were unprepared. I have not heard any mention of what the plan is post-invasion.
Yeah.
And Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid, who's a former prime minister, he said that the Israeli people need to hear more than just, we're going to invade. They need to hear what comes next. And he proposed the future leaders of the Gaza Strip, once Hamas vanishes, should be the Palestinian Authority, that is the internationally recognized Palestinian government in the West Bank.
But all that presupposes Hamas will indeed vanish, and that the people of Gaza are willing to be governed by someone else. The stakes are high, and the outcome still very uncertain. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, US President Joe Biden says Russia's president and Hamas both want to annihilate democracies. Beijing and Moscow are ready to coordinate over the conflict in Israel and Gaza, according to Russian and Chinese state media. Israel's evacuating residents from the city of Kiryat Shmona near the border with Lebanon. And the UK's governing Conservatives have lost 2 Westminster seats to Labour in by-election results. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large gas X pills? God, what's that awful stench? Radio.
Keep my secrets, clean my slate. Now you're saying it's all fake. Paint a picture, fit the shape. Masterpiece while you complain. Was a puppet, now I'm vain. Paint a picture, change my Scream, the power of celebration. Make way for a generation that's been waiting for you, waiting for you. Now it's all so green. Now it's all so green. Now it's all so
Okay, here we go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This is some May coming your way with some green. Yeah, it's green, all right. Yeah. This is still the Rated R Safety Show. Coming across on Radio Big and Safety FM. Doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. No doubt about that, as we are doing our thingo. So, let's talk. I want to thank May for allowing us to play this. It's available on YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Spotify. It's also green. Yes, it is. Thank you, May, for allowing us to play that one. Anyways, let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can and will get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com. That's twloha.com to find out more information. To Write Love on Her Arms. Seriously. If you go there, it can change the way that you look at things. There is no doubt about it. I don't like to say certain things because I don't want people to think that I'm saying something else. But listen, this will be the most important thing that I will ever tell you. Because we need to find help. We need to be able to do things that are important. So there you go. TWLOHA.com, to write love on her arms. There you go. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. So if you are a big movie aficionado, today might be your day. Killers in the Flower Moon. Yeah, that comes out today. Members of the wealthy Osage tribe in the United States are murdered under the mysterious circumstances of the 1920s, sparking a major FBI investigation involving J. Edgar Hoover, which uncovers a chilling conspiracy. So yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, just to name a few, are in that movie. The other movie coming out is Dicks, the musical. Two self-obsessed businessmen discover they're long-lasting identical twins and come together to plot the reunion of their eccentric divorced parents. Megan Mullally and Nathan Lane are in that one, so there you go. If you're looking for some movie stuff to do, so there you go. Anyways, not long after the announcement of Domino's emergency pizza program, which led to reward club members to score free medium 2-topping pizzas whenever you need it, comes this from the makers of M&M's to ensure that everyone has ample supply of candy this year. For the first time ever, Halloween Rescue Squad has been announced, which promises to restock sweets free of charge. Parent company Marge recently discovered in a survey that half of American households are concerned that they might run out of candy, and 99% fest of consuming too many of the treats themselves ahead of time. M&M's has teamed up with Go Puff, the refill for your sugary stash in 30 to 60 minutes in a region where food delivery companies operate. Because of the link, according to M&M, is the scariest part of Halloween, running out of candy. So there you go. So it is available, not a joke as we are talking. So some stuff to think about for sure. Actually, the scariest part of Halloween is biting into something that has raisins in it. Maybe that should be the bigger concern outside of everything else as we are talking. What do you think? I think that's an interesting one. No doubt about that. So will you be using the emergency squad? Think about it.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, radio god, Safety FM, whatever the hell that means. There you go. A man has apparently been arrested in Spain, apparently for faking a heart attack at a restaurant around the country to avoid paying the bill. Reportedly, after ordering food and drinks, he would put on an outrageous theatrical performance, clutching his chest and pretending to faint on the floor. The scam worked like a charm until the establishment owner saw right through the man's act and started showing other local restaurants photos of him and warning them not to fall for his heart attack routine. The restaurant owners have agreed that if he tries it again, they'll give him the Heimlich maneuver. Real good. So just so you know. Just saying. Anyways, Japan Airlines had to schedule an extra flight because of a group of flying sumo wrestlers exceeded the weight limit. The nightmare at 30,000 pounds occurred when the Titanic Tusslers were slated to fly from Tokyo to Osaka to attend a special national sports festival. However, after calculating the sumo's wrestlers' weight of whooping 264.5 pounds on average, 100 pounds more than the typical passenger, travel authorities grew concerned that the two Boeing 737s wouldn't be able to carry enough fuel to the weight restriction, so the airline decided to book an additional flight for 27 members of the sumo crew at the last moment. In addition, the Anami Airport is known to be difficult both to arrive and depart from, especially for large aircrafts. Plus, crash would have left a very negative impression. So there you go. Wow, that turned morbid quick. Think about that for a moment. So there you go. 49 minutes past the top of the hour. Today, is the offload day. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we have a lot of information that we have to uncover. So with that being said, we got you for Motivation Minute. We have you for Health Beat. And we have you for 1 Minute Devotion. So with that being said, let's devote our lives to this for the next few moments.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Dan. Albert Einstein said, "There will come a time when the rich own all of the media. It will be impossible for the public to make an informed opinion." Good old Albert Einstein was a smart dude. I think he may have been onto something with his quote. I get inundated with messages from many different media outlets, many that you'd think are all independent of one another. But the messages seem to be a unified message. Then when you track things back to the source, you discover they're all actually connected way upstream. It may seem like they're all different voices in a choir, but maybe they're really all relaying the same message from the same source. Some with a little more flair and some with a little less, but in the end, it's all the same message. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Eating red meat is linked to a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life. That's according to a new study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. The study's first author said the connection has come up in different populations all across the world. He says he hopes it can settle the debate regarding whether we should limit red meat intake for health concerns or not. Another study shows that seaweed was once a staple food for ancient Europeans. That's according to analysis of molecules from fossilized dental plaque. And another new study shows the demand for medical doctors is growing faster than what's available in the rest of the country. The study by Northwell Health reveals that over the next 10 years, due to the aging population, there's going to be the potential for a shortage of 124,000 primary and specialty physicians. Health Updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. I want to be like the little boy who asked his mother what his conscience was. She replied, "Conscience is that little voice inside of you that warns you when you're about to do something bad." At bedtime that night, the little fellow knelt beside his bed to pray. Folding his hands, he prayed, "Dear God, please make my little voice loud." Psalms 119 says, "How can a young man keep his way pure? By living according to your word. I seek you with all my heart. Do not let me stray from your commands." Lord Jesus, make us sensitive to the voice of your Spirit and willing to obey. In your holy name we pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, pitfalling it is, no doubt about that, as we are hanging out and doing all the lovely stuff that we get to do. That is for sure. Anyways, take a listen to this. One of the most popular meteor showers is about to hit the peak. Mark Mayfield explains.
The Orionid meteor shower comes each October when the Earth passes through the trail of debris left behind by Halley's Comet. The shower lasts until November the 22nd, but NASA says it should hit its peak this weekend. Viewers with clear skies should be able to see up to 20 meteors per hour from midnight until dawn this Saturday and Sunday morning. Some meteors will produce large fireballs as they burn up in the atmosphere and shine extremely brightly for a few seconds. NASA encourages those who want to see the showers to find a good spot for meteor viewing, bring a lawn chair, and be patient. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for the information on what is going on out there. No doubt about that. So let's continue real quick. Let's talk about did you know? You definitely can't just kick your feet up while inside of a driverless car, even though at a glance at the news will take some people to do. Researchers of the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology delved into the hazards of engaging into certain distractive activities while inside an autonomous vehicles. Their research aimed to understand the challenges of suddenly having to retake control during an emergency. They tested the people's response time in emergencies after engaging in activities such as writing business emails, watching videos, or simply resting while their eyes are closed. They found that all of the tasks worsened the takeover that led for the period of poorer driving. Resting resulted in the worst takeover response, followed by working. Social media was less disruptive, but the longer the participant engaged in the activities, the worse their response was to the emergency. That's the first time that I've ever come across the word social media and less disruptive at the same time, or at least in the same sentence. Think about that for a moment.
Listen at
at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Think about that one. Anyways, let's take a look around real quick about some things that happened back on this date. If I take a look around and I take a look at the year, let's take a look at the year 2015. Joe Biden admittedly states that he will not run for president, but 5 years later, he would change his mind. That happened back in 2015. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, so let's take a look at some of those. Asante Black turns 22. Alona Tay turns 40. BG turns 43. John Krasinski turns 44. Snoop Dogg 52. William Zappa turned 58. Kamala Harris turns 59. Ian Rush 62. And Viggo Mortensen, well, he turned 65 today. So there you go. There's some birthdays going in, plowing through, and all that kind of fun stuff. If you're looking at some dates to celebrate today, here we go. Developmental Language Disorder Awareness Day, Community Media Day, International Chef's Day, Office Chocolate Day, National Brandied Fruit Day, Information Overload Day, and Suspenders Day. So there you go. All kinds of days to celebrate combination into uno. Uno, 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 if you're so inclined. So there you go. There you go. I mean, it just seems like it's a day of days to celebrate some things. No doubt about that whatsoever. So let me talk about this real quick because I guess we're getting towards the end of the show. I will not be here next week. Yep, I won't be here next week at all. The whole week, I'll be gone. I was debating about doing the worst of or the best of or just reloads. I don't know. If you're on Safety FM, we'll play some of the older shows, but I don't think we'll do anything video-wise. So I won't be here at all next week. So I just want to give you fair warning because I think that those things are important so that way you know what is going on. So with that being said, please hang out and still listen to all the other shows that we have going on because it is important. I will be disappearing for a week, but I'll be back before Halloween because, you know, with a face like this, every day is Halloween, so it's just a no-brainer day for this. So with that being said, let me give you a random joke for today. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a cash advance. If you need a phone starter for today, the craziest conversation you ever had or overheard. Good one. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. In a survey, 19% of women said that they find these men mysterious and attractive. Who are they? Jailbirds. Yeah, life gets weird sometimes. So there you go. That's going to sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely Friday. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm exclusively to talk about the world of music and entertainment. So if you want to come and hang out, you're more than welcome on doing that. If you don't want to hang out, you can stay on Safety FM, and Sheldon Primus will guide you through the world of safety consulting. No doubt about that. So just some information right there for you to know exactly what is going on. So thank you for hanging out. I really do appreciate it and being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it doesn't make any sense to do what we do around here. Think about that. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought, I would love to leave you with this one. You'll instantly discover true happiness when you stop looking for reasons to be unhappy. There you go. That's something to think about. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. I'll see you in a week's time frame. Take care for now.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Now you're saying it's all